it's better to miss out on trades than to proactively take bad trades. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Real Life Trading Pivot Podcast, brought to you by our preferred partner, TradeNation. We got my boy, my co-host and partner in the house, Dean Bradshaw. Welcome back again. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling very good, Dan. Very good. Had a really good week. How about you?
Terrific week.
There you go.
This episode kind of gets me. It's an interesting topic because I never thought about this or the importance of this ever until I actually had some questions come in from traders, and I thought it was the most bizarre question I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, I just do what everybody else does. But they want to know about morning routines. And at the time of the question, and I had this, it's not from one trader. It was multiple people say, hey, what's your morning routine? Like, what do you do in the morning? And I was like, I don't know. I wake up and I do normal things. I don't put on a super cape and do anything special. I don't know why you guys were asking. But the more I thought about it, and then myself and Tracy, we did talk about some morning routines and things like that. But we haven't got your take yet on the morning routines. And I am curious, what do you do to prepare yourself for the day, prepare yourself for the market? And do you do anything also prior to the morning? Do you do anything at night for research or anything like that to even prepare for the morning?
I don't do nothing at night because I'm a firm believer in trying to switch off. I'm one of these people who've got an overactive mind. So if I continue to look at different things, then there's a good chance I won't sleep. So, and I'm, again, one of these people that as soon as my eyes open and when I'm in bed, I have to get up. I can't lay there and try to go back to sleep. I'm just up. So every time I'm up, my eyes open, I wake up. I don't have the same routine every morning, but I do have a framework for a routine. So I normally wake up anywhere between 5 a.m. and 5:30 a.m. That would be the first thing that happens. I wake up and the first thing that I grab is my water, and it has to be room temperature. I don't want anything too cold first thing in the morning, so it's room temperature, and I normally sink that just to get the juices flowing, and then I will hit coffee, black coffee, 1 sugar, done, because that gets me the energy that I need. Because now I'm about to go and do a 45-minute to an hour workout. Do that every single day, 6 days a week. Only rest on Sunday, so. That's the first thing I do. Try not to check emails or anything like that because I'll be distracted. And once I've got my workout done, then it's normally shower, make my breakfast, which is 2 boiled eggs and a bowl of porridge every morning without fail. And I watch Bloomberg in the background whilst going through emails just to see what's happening in the financial world, especially leading up to the London Open. Which is where I get a lot of my data. Doesn't necessarily mean that I'll trade the London Open, but I use the London Open and in terms of its highs and lows when I trade when the New York cash market's open. So, which is my ideal time to trade. So once I've started so I'll probably do that for about an hour, and then I can hear the noises upstairs. The kids are waking up. The wife's starting to stir. So I make the kids pack lunches, ready to get them off to school. Then they come down, probably cause a racket for a period of time. There's that morning argument of my eldest daughter doesn't want to wear her hair a certain way and my wife telling her that she has to. And I just listen to that go on. Sometimes I am guilty of putting my AirPods in just because it's noise cancelling and I haven't got to hear that before I start my day. But don't tell the wife that. And then, the girls normally come down, and once they're down, I give them some breakfast and get them off to school. School run done, and then I'm back in front of my computer, 9 a.m. Spain time, 8 a.m. UK time, really just to see how the London market is opening and what happens within that market.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think what you're going for is trying to be calm before the markets.
Yeah.
Just self-center yourself in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Semi-similar for me. For me, I will, before I go to sleep, I usually check the futures.
Okay.
Just to give myself, like, oh, where are we? What's the sentiment going into tomorrow? Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, right? So sometimes I'm like, okay, this market looks like it's tanking. But a lot of times when you're watching futures, sometimes they follow through. Other times, by the time you wake up in the morning, it's the complete opposite. So realistically, I don't, and I'm not trading futures or anything like that. I'm mainly trading stocks. But just to get an idea of what's happening, if there's anything that drastically changed from the day that I should probably be concerned with the next day or something to look into. But I'll briefly check that before I even go to sleep. Then in the morning, one of the things I used to do, which I completely stopped doing, is the first thing I would do is wake up and check where we are in the market.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got the feeling like I might be a little addicted at this point. I should probably, because then, like you said, you're trying to accomplish everything before you start your workday, right? And I think the days where the market was green and looking good, I felt good in the morning. But the days that I wake up first thing, I'm like, oh, accounts are down. It kind of subconsciously seeped into my head like it was a bad day. Like it was not going to be a bad day, and that kind of set the tone for the rest of the day. And even though we can make money shorting the market and buying puts and things like that, you just had that little bit of this day is not going to be great. Like this, you just have that little bad feeling.
Yeah, because when the markets are down, even macro news, everything's doom and gloom. Like this happened recently. GBP was the lowest it's been in 50 years against the US dollar. So I get it. Everyone in the UK, they're all crying and they're saying this is it. We're like a submerging country now and blah, blah, blah. But for me, I'm like, okay, cool. Go short on GBP today. Easy. Yep. Easy stuff for me. I'm like, this is brilliant. I haven't even got to figure out the daily bias. They've just told me. It's brilliant. So I think I try to have that type of approach. That's why I don't like, I look at Bloomberg because in my opinion, and this is a story for another day, Bloomberg, I think you get the true news. Right. And I don't just mean financial news. I think you get the true news. So, I looked at it when COVID happened and everyone's, pandemic and everyone's, oh no, this is it now. We're going to go into a recession. And then you read that, some conglomerate are buying someone out for 3 point something billion. You're like, well, I don't think it's that doom and gloom. There is still money circulating. Right. So I try to always think to myself, Bloomberg is where you get the true news and you get the true feel of how the markets are going to react during the day on things. So that's why I always like to start my day off watching that. Again, I take most stuff with a pinch of salt as well. I'm like, look, I get it, nothing is gospel, but it just gives me that type of, okay, the bias, or I might hear something that will be like, okay, cool, that's made my decision for the day when I'm trading this. And that's the only reason why I do like to do that. But I also do that whilst I read my emails for other things, because I don't want to be too focused on one thing.
I think even having that self-centered groundness in the morning, I think it's easy to wake up and put on Bloomberg or CNBC or start checking stock tweets and Reddit and whatever else, and easily get caught up in the hype that's going on, right? So if you turn on Bloomberg and the world is ending and everybody's freaking out about cash, it's easy to get immediately put into a mindset of, this is the end of the world and everything's going to zero, and you just get that mentality, right? But if you come into it from a place of self-awareness of like, well, I did get the opportunity to wake up today, and that glass of water was the perfect temperature.
Yeah.
You start to realize, like, there's nothing you could control about the markets. You can't control what happens in the markets. You can only give it your own perspective and trade how you think it's going to work. But you could easily see, like, if you're kind of taking yourself away from the situation, like everybody else is freaking out. I mean, Warren Buffett says buy when everyone's fearful, right?
Yeah.
By looking at the panic that's happening, your opportunity might be like, okay, well, everybody already sold, they're already selling. Do I want, as soon as this bell to ring, me to jump in there and also go bearish and move with the herd, or would this give me an opportunity to just step back a little bit and wait for a better price? Maybe there's a better buy opportunity than there is sell today, right? And just you kind of have that outer body almost experience where you're like, okay, what actually is a rational play here as opposed to getting caught up? But if the first thing you hear is all negative and the world's crying, it's very easy to get swept up, and now you're kind of just in the herd.
Yeah, no, exactly that. And again, I do have the perfect temperature water, and it was trial and error just to figure out where that is going to be. And it's to the left of my bedroom, right in the corner. I wake up and it is the perfect temperature, and that's taken a lot of positioning around. And again, hence the reason why I stick it there. But that's a side note. But yeah, I try to take everything with a pinch of salt and not try to take everything as gospel, because I think, again, especially in the morning, because for me, I'm a morning person, and you're setting yourself up for the day. So that's why I try not to get too stressed out what goes on with the children, trying to get them ready for school, trying to get myself prepared for the day ahead, because my wife's completely different to me. And I think you have to know yourself as well, right? So something could really annoy me when I wake up, and I can't shake that off for the rest of the day. That's me. That is now my mood for the day. I've tried all this meditation. I've tried thinking positively, but my brain just will not allow that. So it's like, no, done. So my wife's different. Like, she's highly emotional. She goes through every single emotion in the first 5 minutes of a day, and doesn't affect her work, doesn't affect anything. So if I could be like that, then it would be no problem. So I always try to, whatever I'm doing, try to train myself to always see a positive in that. So yes, my sterling is eroding and it's worth nothing, but I can trade that and just go short. That's how I start to plan out my day, right? So again, I totally agree. It's hard. I try not to get caught up with anything that I think can give me a negative effect for the rest of the day, because it's my duty as an individual, as a father, as a business owner, as a coach, as a mentor, to always have that, not positive. You can allow yourself not to be positive at times, but people come to you looking for positivity. So if I haven't got that naturally, I'm not one to fake it. There will be an episode that you and I do, Dan, where I'd have had a bad day, and I probably will say 2 or 3 words, and you'll be like, what the hell's going on? I can't hide that. But that day's yet to come.
Have a bad day on the same day, I think there's still we'll make it. We'll survive. Everybody gets one. But exactly. Yeah, no, have you had a day that you weren't able to stick to that morning routine, and how did that affect your trading for the rest of the day?
My biggest thing is working out, and that's something that has taken some time for me to correlate. If I haven't worked out, it affects my mood or affects my day. So I can't think what it was. Maybe hold my hands up. Maybe I had a heavy night the night before, and my alarm went off at 5, and I just thought, no, I'll just lay here and with this hangover. And yeah, it eased into my day. I don't feel as energetic. I don't feel as vibrant. I don't want to use the word positive, but the slightest thing would start to chip away at the positivity that I normally bring everywhere I go. For some reason, people always comment on how positive I am on my energy levels, right? So I noticed when I don't work out that is a big factor if I have a bad day. Don't get me wrong, right? If there is something that some terrible news happened, doesn't matter if I've worked out or not, I'm still going to allow myself to be emotionally affected by that. But on the whole, I notice if I don't work out, then that's when I let negativity seep through my being. And also, I know that sometimes I plan to work out later in the day because I've had an early meeting or something's happened. I never do that. I'm not an afternoon person to work out. So I have to work out in the morning before I do anything. Otherwise, the probability of me working out that day becomes less and less. And then my positivity takes a hit for that.
Gotcha.
What about yourself?
Yeah, so for me, it's weird too because I have the kids as well, and it's you're almost shifting what you have to do, at least for me, from summer to school time, right? So like when the kids are in school, as like my morning routine changes.
Yeah.
Right. I try to keep it as consistent as possible, but you have one. I mean, the kids are up. We were like, okay, cool. Just you guys do your thing. It's summertime. Watch some TV, have some breakfast. You're good. Relax. I'll be hanging out with you. And they're old enough to comprehend. Like I'm working. I'm busy, and let's let them have his time. In school, well, when school's around, you're on a time limit, right? So for me, I'm on the East Coast. I got the market opening pretty much right when school's starting. So all the time before that, I gotta get them 1 awake, 2 eat breakfast, 3 get them changed, get them all set, pack their bags, and like if they're waking up and they slept on the wrong side of the bed, your whole day is like it's crazy, and you have to kind of recenter yourself. So I'll still pretty much go through the same morning routine that I'll normally go through, but I do notice like when the kids wake up and they're not feeling it that day. And I'm like, the bus is coming. I got to get you to school. Whatever the case is. I before the market opens, I usually try to get like 15 minutes to myself before I even take a trade. And if I can't get that 15 minutes, I'll delay myself on trading. Right?
Yeah.
Because I need to almost refocus myself, really figure out what's happening. I know, especially as soon as the first kid was born, right? And I never had that experience. The wife should be going to work. I got the kid here. I'm like, I can still trade, and that's fine. He'll be in the. And then as soon as I get in the trade, he starts crying, or she'll start crying, and then I'm like, okay, what are you crying about? I'm trading. I should be the one. Have you seen my trades? I should be crying. But it was just kind of taking. You have to get used to, I think, the different phases of life, and there's always different challenges that approach. But you have to. I think you have to be in touch with what's actually happening, and if you start getting out of that rhythm of this is my day, this is what I do, there has to be a way for you to reconnect yourself to you, to your atmosphere, and really get back into that zone of focus. And if you can't, my recommendation is don't trade that day, right?
Yeah.
It's better to miss out on trades than to proactively take bad trades.
So that's really interesting that you bring that up, because that's one of the things I've implemented this year. And that's when I don't feel like trading, don't trade. Before, I used to force myself to trade, and okay, look, this is the time I've allocated that I trade, and religiously I'm going to trade that time. But this year I just decided, look, if I don't feel like trading, then don't trade. And my trading's actually improved massively since I do that. I've become like a sniper in terms of, okay, this is what I'm looking for. I feel good today. Let's take this trade. And then if I don't feel like trading, and I will know at some point in the morning, I will know if I want to trade or not that day. So what I don't do is I just don't look at any charts, because I can just be sucked into taking a trade, because I feel like it's my duty to take one rather than wanting to take one. And that is one thing that I have implemented this year. So that was that's a valid point that you bring up there.
Yeah, I think that, again, self-centeredness goes a lot into it. The emotion that you start the day with does follow through. I've been for the most part slowing down as well. So there's a lot of times, even if I'm completely self-centered and in the zone and I'm feeling good, feeling normal, everything is all engines go. There's days where I'll look at the market and it's like, and I don't know, I had this realization probably about 6 months ago, and I've made it I've purposely been working on doing this, but there's days in the market where I wake up and I'm like, this stock looks like, they're getting clobbered. I like this trade. The entire market looks like that's a big gap down on the market. That's a good big gap up on the market. And you just have a little bit, you just wake up and you're like, I have the clarity. Like you just have conviction behind like the theory. You're like, there's no way this thing doesn't do what I think it does. And there's days where I wake up, I'll see the market like that. And then there's other days where I wake up and I'm like, honestly, I could go bullish, bearish. I don't really have an edge. I could see a good case for both the bulls and the bears to be excited today. And those were days where I used to sit there and be in front of the computer and trade. And they were very, very difficult days. And so even a step further from the morning routine, just being able to open the chart about 30 minutes before the market opens, trying to understand where the different levels are, understanding who's trapped, who's not. And I've been able to tell myself, I don't have a good edge today. I don't have a good reason to trade. And those days I've made the conscious effort to just not really trade, or if I'm still hanging out watching, and I'm like, okay, now we're clearly breaking. I think the decision's made, and I'm able to capture a small little win. But it's very less trades or no trades on days that I just don't have that clarity, which could come from the markets, could come from the craziness in the morning, whatever. Just to step away and just I don't need to make money. I think another thing that got me to that point was also the fact that once you start to really understand how money works, you really start to realize you don't have to trade every single day. Right? If you're building out the long-term accounts, if you're got some investments in other places, you understand exactly how much a bank pays you to keep your money with them.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting there for one good day in the market per week, I'm crushing that same large investment into a bank for an entire year. Like I'm still coming out more positive than what they would have gave me, and I'm still ahead of the game. So obviously you're trying to make as much money as possible. But once I was going back and looking at my sheets, and I'm like, yeah, there was no edge on this day, and of course, this is the day I lost 2 hours. Yeah, or I took 15 trades and I made an hour and a half. Right. For me, what else could I have been doing with my time or my day? And then I'm looking at the days that I'm like, I wake up and I'm just clarity. You're just like, okay, this is we're definitely going. This is a bullish market today. And just being able to play those trades and focus your time, energy into those trades, you've seen a lot more just productivity and moving in the right direction, as opposed to sitting there all day battling back and forth. And even on the days of clarity, you're still 2 trades, 3 trades. Like, great, I hit them. Nice, I'm done for the day. Where before I would sit there all day and just watch the market from open to close, and you really get caught up in it.
And I think you hit the nail on the head once again, Dan, by saying, when you haven't got an edge and you're sitting there all day, like, what else can you be doing? So it's like the opportunity cost. You might think that you've got an opportunity in front of the chart to make money, but you could be there all day, where you can go and do something else, whether it's to make money for another business, or whether it's to spend time with your family, or like I like to do, spend time with myself, and then just go down the golf course. That's it. My plan is to get to golf as quickly as I can. So, but there's a few things that have to be in place. First and foremost, the wife is number one. She has to be happy, because I've tried to sneak out a few times and she's always caught me. The kids need to be at school, because my wife needs help with the kids, because they're like 2 Tasmanian devils, which I just I would hate for anyone to invite me to their house and they have nice things, because my kids will break them in an instant. And that's the truth. Don't invite us around. Third, I need to make sure that we've made money to pay our bills for the day, or whatever I've done, to make sure that there is some income there. And then my plan is to get to golf. So the whole reason I do this, and I'm structured in my morning routine, is because I'm trying to get that velocity of money to come in. So the only thing I do in my 50s is play golf. And I'm like, look, if it's not golf, then I don't want to know about it. That's the overall plan. But we'll see if I get there. I know Tony Powellak's halfway there at the moment, so I'm envious at him. But I call that lack of ambition on his behalf. He's just one of the moderators in the real life trading community. He plays golf most days now.
He's on the golf course, trader. All the time.
But I think he's got lack of ambition.
I don't know if you've thought about this, Dean, but a suggestion for you. I don't know if you've thought about this, but if you want to get I think you could probably get it from like Amazon or some place, but you could get a cardboard cutout of yourself.
Oh man!
Right, and then this way, if you plant that in the kitchen, I think you could fool everybody. You could be out that door playing golf, and everyone still thinks you're home. And
yeah, you know what? That's a great idea, but I'd have to be careful where I place it because, like you said, in the kitchen, then people know that's not me. I very rarely step in there. As my wife tells me many times, you know, I've got a massive secret talking about the kitchen, well off subject, but I have to say it because I feel guilty. It burns me up inside. So my wife accused me recently that I don't help out around the home a lot. So I'm like, cool, what do you need me to do? It'd be nice for you just to load the dishwasher. No problem. And unload it if it's full. So I'm like, okay, cool. There was this one time, like this week, that we were so busy and I had to go on a coaching call at 9 o'clock in the morning for me. Kids had just gone to school, so I'm rushing around. And I remembered I haven't unloaded the dishwasher. So I didn't have time, Dan. So don't judge me. I just put it on another cycle. I just pressed go again. And then I just said, yeah, put the dishwasher on and then just went upstairs to the office. She didn't quiz me on it. So I'm assuming I've got away with it. You know, it's been a few days now.
Until she listens.
Yeah, that's a good point. When did this one air? I'll make sure that we don't, she don't listen
we
to
can edit this out, right?
Edit this part out, please. But yeah, so that's a good idea. I might look into that. I'm hoping that when we get the whole virtual reality thing down, we can just all wear these virtual reality glasses and I can just get a picture of me here so she looks into the office. It looks like I'm typing away at the laptop. Really,
it's a good plan. Yeah, no. It worked for Ferris Bueller. I don't understand why we can't pull this off. But I'm watching this clock tick down a little bit. So unfortunately, we are just about at the end of Real Life Trading Confessions. But I do appreciate you joining us. Dean co-hosting with me as always. And thank you to everybody once again who listens to the Real Life Pivot podcast each and every week. Again, we do have all the links below. We have one-on-one coaching. We got all the free education, which I've been asked many times. How do I access any of the free education, and how much does it actually cost? Zero. Nothing. Just go to reallifetrading.com. You can take full courses, beginner, intermediate, and advanced courses with Real Life Trading. And once again, we will see you guys on another episode of the Pivot Podcast. Take it easy, guys.